This week on NintenDomain, happy 8th birthday to the Nintendo Switch. Plus, it looks like Tony Hawk 3 will once again be a late release for a Nintendo system.
I went to New York City and all I got was overwhelmed by Pokemon Day.
I'm about to buy Tony Hawk 3 for the third time.
Tony Hawk 27.
That'll be third time for me too, right? I think. My third copy.
Yeah.
Welcome to NintenDomain Podcast, episode 461. Your place to hear Nintendo fans talk about Switch's birthday. And one of us went to New York also. And various things. And we are your hosts. I'm Tiny Trey's Turbo Trip Johnson.
I'm Jeremy. Got back from an island and now I'm on an island in a game. Mikowski.
I'm John Can't Break This One Knitter.
You are an island. Let's start with the shows we normally do. And actually, first off, I always forget about this, but we did get a couple comments off of last week's episode, so I'm going to read them right here on this show. One, Hutch sent us a comment via Patreon saying, Shining Resonance Refrain Warning. Party members level independently, meaning you will reach a point in the game where you will be forced to use party members you may never have had a reason to use and lock yourself out of the ability to level them up during the mission. They are forced on you. I love the game except for this part. Good luck. Yeah, good warning there, Hutch. Last week I was talking about, maybe playing Shining Resonance Refrain, which was a Sega RPG that I got like around the same time of VIII, and I never really got into it, and I wanted to try it again. I still haven't done anything with it, but I downloaded it. But thanks for the warning, Hutch. I have some other games, so we'll see if I get to it. But I remember there was weird stuff about it. Also, like, you couldn't change your characters on the fly like you can in Ease. I remember that being a big turnoff, like, since I was playing them both at the same time. Like, Ease was much more playable between the two of them. So, thanks for listening and commenting. Also, we got a comment from Jesse via Blue Sky saying, that Captain America movie was weird as hell at the end. LOL. He should have to contend with a president who can turn into a Hulk, but doesn't want to stop being president. That would have made the last third of the movie a lot cooler. Instead, he's just like, I stepped down for the country. Haha. I take it you probably didn't see that movie yet, John.
I did not see it yet.
I don't blame you if you didn't. Like I said, I didn't hate it. It was fine, but yeah, it had some.
I'm just not motivated to see it.
It had some weird stuff to it. I wish they would have done. I wish they would have done a better job with Red Hulk, because as I said last week, the Red Hulk comic is really cool, which I've been reading, and they don't really do that comic at all. He's not really, the Red Hulk is not like the comic Red Hulk at all. He's kind of more just like the regular Hulk, but red. Where the Red Hulk is, he's a completely different, like, he's much smarter, and he's kind of more, as I said last week, he's kind of reminds me of like early like Deadpool and Venom, like that sort of like supervillain where he's kind of like snarky. Like, there's a part where he like kills the Silver Surfer and takes all of his powers. And he's on the surfboard with like all the cosmic powers, and he's like, "This is the best fun I've had with my clothes on." It's very much like that sort of thing. But yeah, that comic's great. I don't know. It's hopefully they do more things with the character, because it was kind of, I don't know. I said it last week. It was like just at the end, and if you saw the trailer, you saw the whole fight. I kind of hate when they put like the climax scene in the trailer, and that's pretty much the whole trailer is the end of the movie. So it was like, ugh. But yeah, thanks both of you for listening and commenting. I always appreciate when people do that. But let's start off the shows we normally do and talk about games that we got and games that we've been playing. I think we should start with Jeremy, because you weren't here last week. And
Got item.
You could talk about the New York store. I was really drunk last week, as maybe you could tell after we were recording, but everything that Jeremy posted, I put a comment of something to do with New York on your Facebook.
I saw that.
So I put like a link to New York's All Right If You Like Saxophones, the Fear song, and I also put a Queer's New York song on there. And I put a picture from Terra Firma of the picture of Toxie welcoming you to New York or whatever. I don't know. That probably doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, I was having a fun time.
The funny thing about when you posted the saxophone video is I literally at that moment was talking to Shauna about how I used to hate the saxophone, but as I got older, I started liking the saxophone more to the point where now like a tenor to a bari sax is like some of my favorite stuff that I hear in music. And then you put that up there, and I'm like, oh god.
Now you love Kenny G.
Ether.
You love Kenny
No,
G
I
so
said
much.
I made point to not say alto sax.
I would say I don't know what saxophone he plays. I don't know anything about saxophones really. I was just looking for songs about New York to put up there, and I was like, I know Fear has one, but that is a fun,
Fear has plenty of
song.
songs about New York.
I mean, I thought about I Love Living in the City, but that's actually about L.A., not New York.
But yeah, I went to New York City. That's where I was last week. In fact, by the time recording happened, I would have been walking around the city at that point because we got there Wednesday afternoon and pretty much hit the pavement immediately and started doing stuff. Shauna had a big long list, and we didn't get everything, but we did a pretty good job. We hit most of what we wanted to in those couple of days.
I mean, you went to the Statue of Liberty and shit, right? You were like on the boat
Yeah.
and you went out there and all that stuff. So
We did.
doing a lot.
We got to see the Statue of Liberty, which was really cool. We almost didn't go, but we did, and it was a bit of a time suck, but it was worth it, I think. Plus, I don't know. I really liked the tour guide was hilarious. Just like this very New York guy who was like giving like the history of the island, but like
He's like,
the
out of my
different
way.
islands, but he was like pointing over at Manhattan and being like, that was a landfill at one point, and they just covered it up, and now it's Manhattan. Like he showed where like all the debris from the trade centers went, and that's another like
Oh wow.
housing project that they built, or like a big housing site. Maybe not a project, but like a big area with a bunch of housing, and that is all formed as a landfill from all that stuff. And then the One World Trade, I got to see that big ass building that's there now. Yeah, we did a lot of stuff. We went to Stonewall. That was important, which was I don't know if you know too much about that, but it was a gay bar in the village that they essentially had to riot to be allowed to stay in at a certain point.
Oh, are they they're still there?
Yeah, it's a gay bar still, and it's
okay.
there's a monument,
landmark now, right?
stuff right there. Yeah, it was pretty cool. We actually we got some drinks at that bar. It was very on one hand it looked very hole in the wall, but on the other hand it was obviously a tourist place.
Historic.
So, they I think they managed to keep the balance, and the bartenders were really nice. Also, there's like a whole like visitor center there too, and all these golden shovels that have like names on them. Like Shakira donated a bunch of money.
Golden shovels?
Or no, was it Shakira? No, sorry, it was Christina Aguilera. It was one of those blonde.
Oh. Are they shovels that can help you dig yourself out of your own predicament? Like the golden shovels from Twin Peaks season 3?
No, it's like the golden shovels from Animal Crossing.
Because what was it? The one guy, the doctor guy, Dr. Jacoby, like ended up making a ton of money selling golden shovels to people.
It was a little weird because everything in there was super historic, and then you go into this like kind of theater area where they play like a documentary film about like the history of not just at Stonewall, but just the history of the gay rights movement during the time of like civil rights and stuff. And starting back in San Francisco and stuff, I guess there were some riots there as well. And but like the walls of that room are lined with these little like areas where they've got lights shining on these golden shovels that have different people's names on them, including like Walmart and like companies and stuff that had donated to fund it. So I don't know. I mean, whatever. They got the money they needed. It's just maybe hopefully they can get rid of those shovels eventually because they look kind of tacky. Everything else is cool though. They've got they got a bunch of old flyers from back in from the 70s onward for gay shows and like gay concerts, and very specifically for like the queer community. Lots of Batman and Robin pictures.
Of people dressing up, or
no, like as like utilized in like the graphic art for the flyers and stuff. And that place was cool.
It's not like Adam West and Burt Ward were they frequented there, or they might have.
We also went to as far as gay stuff goes. We also went to the House of Yes, which is a gay club in Brooklyn. That was really cool. We went there Friday night, and we were there until it closed at 4 a.m. So it was a good time.
Nice. Yeah, it's hard to find bars in New York that close at 4. Well, I guess it depends on where you're at. Because there's only one bar I went to in New York that I liked called Jimmy's Corner. It's in Times Square, and they actually
we went to Jimmy's Corner. We went there twice.
Did you go there?
Yeah, we went there twice.
Oh, I love that place. But they're open till 4 too, and they have decent prices for drinks. I've been there twice.
Yeah, we went there.
Also.
We went there the first night.
2 different trips to New York. I went there.
That's how we closed out our first night there. Went to Jimmy's Corner on a recommendation from our friend Charles.
Oh,
who's been there a few times. And then we went back the last night, the night before we left, because we were just like, well, let's get one more drink and we'll just go back to Jimmy's Corner because it's right by our hotel.
And they're open late too.
Yeah. So, yeah, I went there and I have pictures of the weird posters and everything on my Instagram.
I went there.
It's like a boxing themed bar, Jimmy's Corner.
Yeah,
I
Jimmy,
think the owner,
did you see
whoever it was named after?
Did you see Jimmy, the boxer there?
No, I didn't, but I saw pictures of him.
Because I'm pretty sure I saw him there the first time I was there. Because he threw somebody out, threw somebody out, took them and heaved them through the front door.
That sounds like Jimmy.
It was pretty fucking insane. But this was a long time ago. Because I did a commercial for Madison Square Garden, and we were staying there. And my friend Laura Klein lived in New York, and I texted her, and I was like, "Where can I go in New York to get drinks?" Because we didn't get off work until midnight or whatever. And she's like, go to Jimmy's. It's like the 2-way. And I was like, okay, cool. So we went there. And then when Jess and I were there last, we went there also. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's totally like the 2-way or a lot of those.
I mean, it's like it's a
dive bars.
Yeah, it's like it's a dive and it's not super expensive and people aren't shitting.
There's people there that you get the impression they're there regularly. They're not just visiting. You see a lot of tourists in Times Square where we were or around Times Square. Because we stayed at Radio City Apartments, which is, it's on 49th. And Broadway's 47th or something, or 44. I don't know. Whatever. It's really close. So we were right next. It took us 5 minutes to walk to see Lion King, which we saw, which was awesome. We saw that Friday night as well. In fact, we went to Jimmy's Corner after that. We went to Rudy's, which is like a bar, which is also cheap, but it's more like a sports bar. And they give you free hot dogs with every drink.
Oh, did you take them? Did you
we only
have
had
6 hot dogs?
No, we just had one drink each there because it was really crowded.
Oh, yeah.
It was standing room only. We're just kind of shoved in a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little overwhelming at first to be in bars like that, but the bartenders know what they're doing. They get to you.
I mean, you don't smoke cigarettes anymore, so you can't take advantage of New York prices. I do remember the last couple times I was there I always wanted to buy cigarettes there because they were cheaper. Cigarettes are cheaper in New York than Chicago. Yeah, maybe they were more expensive. Actually, I think I got that wrong. I think they were more expensive in New York and they were cheaper in LA. But I mean, I don't know. I haven't smoked for years, so I forgot.
Same.
Saving more money by not buying them at all.
But
yeah, they were 20. I mean, cigarettes were almost $20 here in Chicago. Maybe they were even worse in New York. And I think they were $5 in LA or something like that. If you could find a place that sold them. That was difficult.
We got a lot of pictures though. I've got all kinds of pictures. Maybe I'll put some of them in the Slack or whatever. I don't know why I haven't yet, but there was a lot of different food that I wanted to try while I was there. Just kind of as a foodie, I'm just kind of an amateur foodie. No, I wanted to try, a New York hot dog, New York pizza, New York cheesecake. I wanted to get a pastrami sandwich at a deli. I did all this stuff.
New York hot dog is sauerkraut, right?
It's just a hot dog I bought in New York.
Oh, well, I thought it was
honestly,
like a Chicago style, that sort of thing where they put certain stuff on it.
The place I got a hot dog, the bodega, just gave me ketchup and mustard. So who knows if that's just how they did it there. But there's some brand of hot dog. You know how everything's Vienna beef in Chicago? There's some other brand that was on every hot dog cart there. That was a different brand. But that kind of what in my head I was thinking that's probably more in line with what the New York is, kind of the all beef hot dog as part of the Chicago hot dog experience.
Sure.
But whatever. I mean, it was just a hot dog ultimately. Sorry, New York, but I didn't really care that much. But the pizza, though, we tried the pizza 3 different times.
Because it's bigger, right? And you roll it up or whatever.
That always makes me think of the opening to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. when they're all eating their giant pizzas.
Because it's the bigger slices, right? Or it's supposed to. I don't know.
That was probably the weirdest thing about going to New York was just it's something that I've known in my head, my entire life, but it was just like a mythical place until I actually went, this past week, and
It's
just
real.
got an entirely different perspective on it. And like, on one hand, it seems bigger, and on one hand, it seems smaller.
It's. I
since
mean,
I've
yeah.
been there.
I mean, there's it's like Chicago. There's a bunch
You can get
of different
around really,
parts of
really
it.
quick
Yeah.
if you use the subway. Well, not really, really quick, but you can get one side or the other in like under an hour, probably.
Yeah, we
At the right time of day.
I think I said it before. Whenever we went there, it snowed really bad, and we had to change our flight to a different place. And we took the subway from the Times Square to like way across. Like, we went a ways. We went quite a ways to actually be able to fly out still. And yeah, it was fast.
Oh,
but
you
it
switched
was,
airports.
No, we had to go to a different airport. Yeah, we had to go to a different airport because the one that we were at was filled with snow and none of the planes were taking off. So we had to go elsewhere.
Well, we
But it was
were
pretty far.
entirely subway while we were there, so that was fun to like really just get to navigate the.
Did you guys drive there?
No, we flew.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's a very long drive, as I know.
Yeah, we flew out of Indy, so
from
it was a
New
really
Hampshire.
short flight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not bad. So did
Yeah,
you?
like an hour and a half.
You probably didn't even have to rent a car, right? You could just take the train
Nope.
wherever you need, straight out of the
Yeah,
airport.
we were entirely public transport the entire time. Like,
Nice.
there was a couple times where we looked up a Lyft just to be like, we could save a little bit of time, and it was never worth it for the price.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's probably pricier too. I don't know.
Like, if we had wanted to take a Lyft from our hotel to the airport, it would have been $100 right
Yeah.
around, and it was like, I think it was like $12, including the air train to take the public transport there. So of course we did that.
Nice.
Did you get like a 3-day pass or something?
You
How long
know,
were you
there's
there for? Like 3 days.
we were only there, Wednesday through Saturday, Wednesday day through Saturday day. So yeah, whatever that is, 3
Yeah,
days. Yeah,
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know what days exactly you were there.
we weren't there that long, but we managed to do a lot.
I mean, that's
So
like
I think we had a pretty damn good trip to New York.
that's like 3
I got-
nights or something.
I saw a
4
rat.
nights.
I saw a
So
real New
rat.
York City rat. I got a video of it. I'll put that on Slack.
Or is it bigger than? Are they bigger than the Chicago
No.
rats? 'Cause we have
I
big
was
ones
hoping
here.
it'd be like a big scary looking rat, but it was just like a cute looking rat.
The rats in Chicago are like. I mean,
It had
they're-
gigantic testicles, but I think all rats do.
They're
All
like
rats
little
do.
they're like little dogs. They're like half dogs. They're gigantic.
I've seen the Chicago I've seen the Chicago rat bigger than this rat for sure, and it was the only one I saw.
They're
And-
terrifying,
Well, we
yeah.
think we saw two, but it might have been the same one that ran past us and then got down on the tracks for all we know. But it was eating pizza, of course,
Sure, as you do.
because there was pizza laying everywhere. It was like outside of the train stop when we were leaving the club at 4.
Nice, classy.
So all the people were there partying, and there was a rat partying too.
And they're I guess their trains don't like close or anything, right? Like they're open all the time, like Chicago.
They're always open, but they run less often, which kind of sucks. But
Sure.
the weather was really nice. We didn't have to deal with like really shitty weather. It rained a little bit, but for the most part, I think it was actually warmer there than it was in the Midwest. So that was cool. But yeah, I think of all the stuff I did there, probably definitely the Lion King was huge. Getting to travel on the subway was a big thing for me, and just seeing the city and getting that authentic experience of like talking to the people, seeing what the people were like. The people were really nice. Like, there were some weirdos that came up and talked to us, of course, but that happens in Chicago too. That happens in Champaign too.
Yeah.
That happens everywhere. On the subway, people left us alone. It was a couple of people kind of, whatever, like being really loud, talking to themselves on the subway. But once again, I think that's just about everywhere that has a subway or
say,
public transportation.
Right.
I've definitely seen that many times in Chicago. If you're there, I mean, sometimes it's you, depending on how late you are on the train. I mean, I've
It's true.
been there too. You know.
There's a lot of people. Shauna said I must look like somebody that wanted to buy drugs, because a lot of people came up to me asking me if I wanted to buy various different drugs when we were in Times Square on Friday night.
Oh yeah, and you saw all the all the dirty superheroes and all that are running around trying to.
Oh yeah,
Trying to
they didn't even have their like hoods pulled down. None of them did. Their heads were just like up above their faces, like leaning back, and they were running up like, "Do you want a picture? Do you want a picture?" Then I think they probably pull their face down for the photo opportunities, but No, I saw all kinds of crazy shit. It was very much like in LA or not LA, stupid Las Vegas. I've never been to LA. It was like a lot like a Fremont and Las Vegas.
Oh, sure. I mean, like Hollywood Boulevard, you got all that crap too. You got all sorts of people in stupid costumes trying to sell you shit. I thought it was very similar.
We walked around
Same dirty
30 Rock a
costumes.
little bit,
Yep.
but that was mostly just because we were trying to find like something to do, like in between stuff. And we wandered around, but just saw a bunch of like displays about the 50th anniversary of SNL and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, that happened.
We went to Serendipity, which I guess was a movie, but it's also like a fancy cafe thingy. That one was really good, but it was expensive, but it was tasty. And then when we were getting ready to leave, we were like, "Oh, there's an upstairs," and the host was like, "Oh, yes, you can go upstairs and take pictures if you want." And we're like, "Okay, what's up there?" He's like, "The table," and we're just like, "What? The table? What table? The table from the movie?" And we're like, "Okay," and we just went up there.
What movie?
And it was literally.
Serendipity.
It was literally just another floor of tables, and none of the tables had anything special going on with them.
Bring,
So we're
bring
just
the
like,
tables.
I just took a video of every table up there. I'm like, well, I got whatever the famous table is in my video. I'll
Famous
figure it
table
out
from
later.
Serendipity. All right.
I remember there. I mean, I vaguely remember a movie being called that, but it's probably
It's a John
wrong.
Cusack movie.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
Then I probably saw it then. I was gonna say it sounds like a romantic comedy. That's for sure.
Definitely, and it's got like the decor of the place is very distinct. So if you see the movie and you see the place, I'm sure they'll match up.
Oh yeah, that movie. Yeah, Serendipity. That was like a 2001 movie. Yeah, I didn't see that movie, but I remember.
Well, apparently there's a
kinda
famous
remember it
table
now.
in there.
I'm sure they went on a date there, or went a date on that table, right?
It must be pretty important if it's the name of the movie. But as far as restaurants go, it's just something that was opened in like the 70s between some big investors and all that crap, like restaurants be. But it managed to survive, whereas a lot of other restaurants don't. So that's a cool thing about New York City. There's a lot of really old restaurants like you'll find, like, the ones that did last. Some of them have been there like over 100 years. We didn't go to any of those, but they're there. You'll also see like every building you see, there's probably been a movie filmed there at some point. Like when we were getting onto the ferry, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's where they filmed filmed Ghostbusters. That's where they filmed Die Hard." Just pointing at all these different buildings.
Nice.
But yeah, as far as podcast stuff goes, I did go to Nintendo New York, and I didn't realize it until after we left, and I was like looking at my phone a little bit. But I actually went into Nintendo New York during the Pokemon event, or maybe right after, or I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was.
Pokemon Day, which was Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah. As we were
It was
walking
Thursday.
towards the store, I just kept seeing people walking by with Nintendo New York bags. Of course, I was getting excited. It's like when you're seeing billboards for the theme park as you're getting to it, or whatever, when you're driving. I was like, "Oh, there's another one. There's another one. There's all these bags." I'm like, "Well, Nintendo New York is busy, but I guess this is New York City. That's fine." But yeah, it was packed. And they had I went upstairs and they had like a big event where they're having people draw Pokemon on like a little post-it note essentially, and then put it on this big display, which I imagine they filmed or did something with for the event. But I didn't draw Pokemon. I didn't have time. There was just way too many people like crowded around that area, and we were trying to go somewhere else.
Did you get things?
But, I did. I got something special for myself.
Nice.
Didn't really have a lot of money to spend there either, and stuff was kind of expensive. But yeah, I've got videos and stuff. I'll put. I was planning on trying to do
Put a video together. I did one like 6 years ago. So you do.
Yeah, I was going to try to do my version of it for the podcast. I got some stuff, and so did Shauna, so we could probably.
Did you?
How many Alarmos did you buy? 2, 3?
I didn't see any Alarmos.
say,
I
were
was
they-
looking around.
I'll say, were they there? Because I heard they were sold out. That they didn't.
Yeah, I
have
didn't
any.
I didn't see Alarmos. Almost everything was either like clothes, plushies, or like some like type of dishware that represents almost everything that's at the store for sale.
I'm sure they still they still have like the blown up Game Boy, right, and like the display with all the amiibo on
They
it.
didn't have the blown up Game Boy.
The
Sadly,
blown up Game Boy.
It got
moved
retired.
to Nintendo headquarters.
Oh, is it? But it's not at the history at the whatever. It's not the Nintendo Museum.
maybe it is at the Nintendo Museum now. I don't know, but it got retired from the Nintendo New York store. Sadly, I wanted to see it, but it wasn't there. But they do have that huge like
It's in
They have a
my
huge,
video.
like, glass display with all the portables and stuff in it, and they've got some cool like Game and Watches and stuff in there. Old Game and Watches you can look at, and it's cool. It's not what I expected.
How was the amiibo selection there? Did you look at them? Is there still a
No,
lot, or does it? Do they even care?
I didn't see. I don't remember seeing amiibo. That's not to say they weren't there, but if there were, it was a very small display of them, probably by the toys. You know what? Actually, I do remember it was a really small up by the cash register.
Yeah, I remember it being by the cash register, and I think the Link statue was there if he's still there.
Yeah, the Link statue's there.
But
I got a picture with him.
I was wondering if there was more. There might have been more when I was there than there are now, because they're kind of phasing out the amiibo, as we talked about last.
They didn't have
week.
very many Switch games. They just had like a little wall of maybe 50 games or something that you could pick out of.
How was like the different? I mean, did they have like? Because I was looking at all my old footage. Like they had back then they had it was all like Breath of the Wild stuff. Like, did they have like Tears of the Kingdom stuff, or was there any? There probably wasn't any like Metroid, or I don't know. It was mostly like Animal Crossing and Breath of the Wild.
I think
Splatoon,
they were focused on. There was a lot of Pokemon stuff. I think
Pokemon,
probably displayed that day. I noticed there was a Detective Pikachu. I don't know if that's always there, but that was a popular little plushie that everybody was buying. I noticed. I didn't get it because ACAB, but
he's not a cop.
I did get something. Detective's a cop.
He's an investigator.
You're still a cop.
He's a private investigator. He doesn't work for the system. He works for himself.
Fair enough. If he's a private investigator, maybe he's not quite completely a cop. But yeah, I wanted to show what I got, and I there were a few different ones that I wanted, but this is the one I ultimately decided on because they didn't have a Birdo, so I got a Shy Guy.
Oh, that's cool.
The Shy Guy.
Can you take
Like
its
a
mask
little-
off?
Is it a little plush or is it a vinyl or what is it?
It's plush.
It looks like a plushie. It looks soft.
Yeah, it's just a little plushie. It wasn't too expensive compared to other plushies there. It was only $10, so that was also
nice.
helpful.
You can't pull the mask off. It's it's stitched on there.
sewed on.
Can't see
Yeah.
what he looks like. I think his face is just all black, right? If you could take it off,
I think so. Just like some little eyeballs.
it's just like a void. That's it.
You can kind of see it and sniff its face, what it would be like underneath, I think. They had all the different colored Yoshis and everything, so what can I say? It's a big gift shop for Nintendo stuff. And I might have had a little bit more fun if I had more money, but everything I bought when I was in New York, I was also like, I got to fly back with this, so I wasn't super
Oh yeah.
excited about buying anything major while I was there.
When you go to Japan, this was Jess's idea, and it was brilliant. Bring an extra bag with nothing in it, and then you can fill it, and you can fill it with stuff.
We're gonna
Way
do that
back.
for sure.
Because that's what we did. We had like two bags that didn't have anything in them, so we could fill them with shit.
Yeah, we're definitely planning on buying. I definitely plan on buying more physical items in Japan, but it was a good time. New York City. I recommend going sometime if you haven't been. Like I had no huge desire to go until my wife was like, "Hey, do you want to go see Lion King on Broadway?" And then she organized the entire thing. So I was like, "Sure," and I'm glad I did. I had a great time and felt like I had a really productive trip. Some parts of it were stressful. We got on the wrong train a few times, and that kind of thing happens when you're trying to show yourself around. But there was always helpful people that would point us towards stuff if we couldn't find it, and plenty of friendly people asking if I wanted to buy cocaine and stuff. I didn't buy any, but I'm just letting you know. That's an option if you want.
I'm sure you ran into that.
You just got to look like me, I guess. Yeah, you got to look a little rough around the edges or whatever they say.
Look like you're cocaine thirsty.
Yeah, look like I'm just like,
Or you just
shaking.
cocaine sniffy. You're just like, where is it? Where is it?
Hey, maybe that's what I look like. I don't know. You don't really ever see yourself.
You're like a little cocaine rat, just sniffing. I don't mean.
Where's the maze? Where's the maze? I mean, it is the rat race, so
Like-
New York
like
City is a
corn?
great place.
They call cocaine maze too. I was thinking about don't they call corn maze in some places?
But yeah, we did so much stuff. I'm sure I would think of more things and going through all my photos and stuff and video that I took. It was a great trip.
Did you guys ever use the wireless mics that I got you for your wedding? Have
No,
you
I
used
brought
those?
them and everything.
Have you tried them? Have you pulled them out and just
No.
tested them? You got to test them. I want to know how they work. I want to know how well they work. I'm sure they work fine, but I want to.
We're going to. I brought them. They took up a good chunk of space in my little rig, little carry-on bag. I mean,
Yeah. If you
Don't
don't
try to
use
get Jeremy's little wireless mic that clip to the
I
shirt.
don't know why I called it a rig. I think I just wanted to sound cool like Trey.
What has a? I mean, it has a little thing that you stick to the back of the.
Yeah, it's a rig.
Of
Gosh
the-
darn it.
of the,
I'm a grip.
You stick it to the back of the camera. I mean, it seemed to be like the easiest thing. It has these little circles, but you can like stick them to you, so you don't have to like. I think there's
Yeah,
probably
they're magnetic.
there's a magnet or something, so you don't have to worry about clipping on whatever. I thought it'd be more
Yeah, they're
like,
magnetic.
easier. You know,
No,
I want to see how
we
well
want
they work.
to. I mean, we really should have for some of the stuff we did. We just forgot about them in the moment.
Also, like I would be a little nervous to use them in New York, depending on where you were at. Like I wouldn't want to use them on the train or whatnot. I'd be afraid I'd drop them in between,
Yeah.
like in between the doors or something.
Or like down one of those crazy deep grates while you're walking down the
Yeah,
street.
there's plenty of stuff. There's plenty of places to lose things in Chicago.
The subways keep going down too. Like sometimes you'll be going to a train and you're like, oh no, it's down another floor. Oh no, it's down another floor. You're like, how fucking deep is this shit?
Oh yeah,
Go. It's kind of crazy.
whenever
But it's awesome.
it's part of my stuff. I guess I could say it, but whenever I come to Champaign for Mannequin Pussy and Echo Astral, maybe we can try them out there. See how they work. Because I did get tickets for Jess and I to come down for April 3rd.
Also, while you're here, I'm going to try to see if we can't go to. Supposedly, there's an arcade right by my house, and I just found out about this.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Like within walking distance of my house, so we're gonna have to check that out. And maybe I'll go do a little scouting mission here the next couple weeks. And I'll talk about it on the show if I do. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's good for New York for now. There'll be more that'll pop into my head, but I had a great time, and it felt nice to go to one of the. It was nice to go to one of the meccas or whatever you want to say of Nintendo here in the United States. So, we got to go to Nintendo World later this year in Osaka. So I feel like I'm doing my part as a Nintendo fan this year.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
I
Also,
think-
I should say at Nintendo New York, the big game that they were pushing was Brothership. So yeah, that was kind of funny. Like as far as like the gigantic screen where you could play the game.
Oh wow!
Like on one screen,
that
it was
ship
Brothership.
You could have tried it out and saw like how weird it was not controlling.
And then the
Luigi.
other screen was Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Oh yeah, there's that one. I mean, if Brothership would have gotten I don't know if it would have gotten a Mar 10 discount, I might consider it. But I thought about maybe getting Luigi's Mansion 2 for $40 if it's digital, because I know they're doing them for $40 at like retail places, but they didn't say anything about digital yet.
I didn't really do anything gaming related other than Nintendo New York. I was too busy to play games. I brought my Switch and the dock and everything, and we were hardly ever in the hotel room other than bedtime.
Oh yeah, sure. I always bring it. Yeah, I always bring it everywhere, but I don't always use it.
There was one morning, I think it was Saturday morning, where we kind of slept in a little more than we wanted to, but for the most part, or no, Friday morning, but for the most part, we were on it. And so as far as games go, though, before I left for Nintendo New York, or New York in general, I did finish the last boss in Robocop, so I can say I've finished that game now. And it gives you a new game plus mode, and that's really fun because you keep all your stats, and now almost all my stats are maxed out, and it's just
You're just a murder
it's
machine.
just hilarious. Yeah, and I've got like the gore turned way up because it's like there's this little like chip kind of level up system where you like set these little like thingies on a circuit board. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's actually pretty easy to figure out once you look at it. But it's how you like do some of your upgrades, and some of the upgrades involve turning up the gore to where you're just like shooting people's limbs off and decapitating them and all kinds of fun stuff. So that's in there if you want to play it that way.
It looks fun.
But yeah, New Game Plus is great. I'm almost through it again in New Game Plus because that's just how I am now. The new game for me is just filling up all those bars of leveling up. And then lastly, when I said I came from an island, referring to the island.
Oh yeah.
Brooklyn, wherever the hell else we were. I started playing Lacrimosa this week, like seriously playing it, and I like it.
That's Ease. Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, that's Ease 8.
Ease 8.
Lacrimosa of Donna. Yeah, it's I wonder. I mean, how? So you made it to the island then, right? You got far enough to get past the first part.
Oh yeah, I'm on chapter 2, but I'm pretty far into it. I have just rescued my 11th person, I think. and I've fought a lot of bosses and stuff.
Did you think it's really cool, like the way how you get to meet everybody on the boat at the beginning and then you find them all later?
Yeah.
Like I always thought that was a
it's
really
cool.
neat thing. Yeah.
It's not at all what I expected. I don't know why I didn't know exactly what I expected with this game, but it's a lot more chill than I was expecting. It's like basically just exploration and town building, really.
Yeah, I always really like basically the basis of what all the Ys games are now, like what 9 and 10 are, all come from like 8. And it made the most sense for 8, like the way it works, like how you don't really know the map because you're on this island you don't know about, and you kind of like fill it out as you go. All the other games do that too, but it doesn't make as much sense. Like 9, that didn't make sense because you're in a town that's already got like 100 people or like thousands of people. It's like they would already have it mapped out. Like you don't need to map it out. But it does make a little bit more sense for 10, I guess, because you're mapping out the ocean. So you are like exploring things and it's like similar thing where you find stuff and then you get extra shit for finding like whatever, like that sort of thing.
I've played through 2 of the raids. So the raids are kind of, I thought I'd hate them, but I'm on normal mode. So
I was gonna say, I hope you don't,
too hard yet.
Hope you don't hate them because you do have to do them pretty often. But I didn't find them.
Well, they are
I didn't find them that
optional
tedious
sometimes.
Yeah, I remember that some make sure you do all your side missions because some of them won't be available after the end of the chapter.
And the raids, I think, are kind of what cap off the chapter sometimes. But the last raid I didn't cap off the chapter, so I don't know. Maybe that's not how it always is. But I've fought bosses and I've found people. The people you rescue end up being like your blacksmith and your shop person and your doctor.
Yeah, you get to put all your who can make the potions and whatnot, and
you're making a fully functioning town, and there's no money, so it's all bartering.
Yeah, that's what I always thought was really cool too. Yeah, you could put stuff together to create new or to upgrade your swords or whatever because you can't buy swords, and it's like that in the 2 other Ys games as well. But it made the most sense for that one. So
I will say if I had one complaint, it's that the map just doesn't make sense a lot of the time. Like the way you'll exit one part of the map and you'll show up somewhere else on the map, and like it doesn't make sense the way the pieces are connected to each other all the time, like how you get somewhere. But I think they're pretty generous with putting markers down that after a while you kind of get used to how it works. But it took me a little bit to get used to the way the map is. The map's just a little annoying to me. But it's getting better.
The map's still kind of weird. Even
it
for
is.
10.
It's the way. Yeah. It's the way the game is made. Like didn't you say this was originally a Vita game?
It was. Yeah, it was originally a PlayStation Vita game.
So I was playing it on.
Can you believe it?
I was playing it on my phone last night in bed. For like an hour before I fell asleep, and
remote off the PS5.
It transferred really, really well to that. So yeah, it definitely feels like it's at home on mobile in that regard. But yeah, cool game. I don't know. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself to finish it because Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming out soon. But
yeah,
I do like it, and it's the furthest I've played into an Ys game yet.
It's got a baller soundtrack, so make sure
it's got a great soundtrack.
You got that sound up.
The characters are cool. The enemies are cool. The bosses are very wacky. They feel like something from like old school. They feel very old school, like PlayStation 2 level bosses. I don't know how to explain it other than that, but they're fun. They all have their weaknesses and stuff that you have to figure out. And I'm trying to get used to all the special moves because there's just so much to that, and you're just setting them to hotkeys or whatever. But I just keep unlocking moves over and over again. I'm like, well, what do I do? Sometimes I forget to upgrade my move set. I've actually finished a battle and realized like I had a new character and I had forgotten to put armor on them and stuff. So you got to be careful about that in this game.
Oh yeah. Also, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but all your like skills and stuff, they only upgrade if you use them. So if you want to make them better, you have to actually use them, which I always thought was really cool. Like they all level up on their own. And I don't know if it does this in 8, but in 10, you can basically you can master it, and once you master it, you get a better version of it. So you can do you get a different spell, but I don't know if it works. I don't remember if it works like that on 8. But it's a cool mechanic. I like where you can you use one and it'll be like, all right, you did this, so here's a stronger version, but it's a little bit different, and then you master that one, and then there's another one, and it's kind of has its own like leveling up for the skills. And I always thought that was a really cool thing.
Yeah, it's very old school, so you just got to be You got to get used to the map system of what you do. You know, it's really generous with fast travel points and revive potions are few and far between, but you can warp back to the island and
Oh yeah.
restock them whenever you need to, or back to the village.
Yeah, you gotta make them, and we'll also. I mean, it's like Zelda. You gotta get empty bottles to make more of them with.
Yeah,
So you have to kind of.
I think I'm up to like 7 empty bottles now.
You got to collect like, and same with 10, you get boxes too that you can make lunches out of. You can make like box lunches, but you need boxes to put them in and all that.
Oh yeah, there's recipes in this too, which are kind of cool. Once I figured out the recipe, how like those are just like a really effective way to get through bosses. You gotta have lots of recipes, kind of like Zelda. But yeah, I'm gonna keep playing it because I like it and I already have it, so I don't have to buy it. So that's what I'm gonna do, probably all this next week too. Is see how far I can get into this game, and maybe play a little bit more Wario. But I don't know. I always get focused on one game at a time, I think.
I got kind of lost in Wario. I was in this like ice area and I kept running in circles, so that's why I stopped playing that one because I was just going in loops and I couldn't find anywhere else to go. Like I was just running around in circles. But yeah,
That should be good for me.
yeah. Do you want to? I know you don't. What do you want to talk about? Whatever you want to talk about, John.
Sure. Yeah, I don't have too much to talk about. I do have to.
We can talk about the big announcement that happened that we didn't know about, but did know about. Tony Hawk
Yeah.
3 and 4 HD officially got announced. So we talked about it last week because there was all this like random hints about it going around the
there was
world.
a countdown.
Yeah, there was a countdown on TonyHawkTheGame.com. And I kept checking it, and it's like it was counting down till 10 a.m., till 10 a.m. on Tuesday. And I was like, are they going to drop it? I was like, I thought maybe they would, I was prepared.
I really thought they were.
I was prepared to get it.
So
I like put off buying stuff I was like, I'll wait and see what happens with the Tony Hawk thing. And I didn't do it on purpose, but I was laying in bed asleep. And, every Tuesday at 10 a.m., they do like the tornado sirens, like in Chicago. And,
right. Yeah.
And it was like really loud and it woke me up at 2 a.m. And I'm like, ah. And then I looked at my phone and it was like a few seconds left on the clock. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'll wait till it stops. And it goes down to 0. And then it starts again, 2 more hours. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, shit.
Like, I don't know if that happened to you, John, or if you saw it. Like I went to the website and it was like 3, 2, 1. And then it's like 2 hours. And I'm like, what? So I guess they didn't actually announce anything till noon. But I was like, why did you even put it at 10? If it's not even 10, I don't understand. But yeah, but
I found out about it before the countdown rang out because it turns out Tony Hawk went on Stephen Colbert the night before.
Oh, okay.
And he announced it on Stephen Colbert, but he didn't announce the details or anything. But I was on my lunch break just before the countdown went up, and I saw that the interview was up there. And to my surprise, he actually said it, so that was cool. And Tony Hawk 3 and 4 is what we were expecting.
Not the same company though. Not Vicarious Visions. It's a different. It's
I think they shut down though.
Yeah, they did get shut down. I'm just saying it is a completely different company doing it as than before. Which I'm sure it'll still be good. But they got shut down when they were partially through it. So I don't know if they're using anything from that or if they start over again or whatever. But
yeah, it looks fantastic. It's my most anticipated game now that I know of.
There's a trailer.
I'm looking forward to.
It was nice to hear Lemmy again. R.I.P.
Yep.
To hear Ace of Spades on there.
Yeah, we were talking before the show. Trey and I were talking before the show, and that's actually the first time I heard Ace of Spades or heard of anything Motorhead was in Tony Hawk 3.
Yeah, the first time I ever heard Motorhead was Tromeo and Juliet, because the trailer for Tromeo and Juliet used the Motorhead song Sacrifice, which is on the movie also. And that was the first time I ever heard it. And then I bought an album that had Ace of Base on it that I lent to John for a time. And didn't you just give it back to me? And I didn't know I had it.
I did like a couple months ago.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, but
I had it for like 15 years.
But yeah, the game looks good. I made a joke about it earlier. I did it on Slack too. that it's like, because it's coming out in July, right? Like July 12th
July
or
11th.
11th or something like that. And I was like, is this going to be like a final Switch game? I mean, it won't be because Switch 1 is super popular. They'll keep making them. But it's funny to see another Tony Hawk 3
Right.
come out at like the end of a life cycle of another Nintendo system.
I think it'll probably be a dual release. I think it will come out for both. So for that reason, I'm not pre-ordering. I'm just going to wait till Switch 2 one comes out.
I guess maybe. I was going to say it doesn't have to. Like out of my own excitement for 3 and 4, even though I already have it, I bought Tony Hawk 1 and 2 for Switch. So
Oh, good.
So
that's right. You bought it on PlayStation. That's
I
right.
did. I bought it on PS4 on sale, and it was on sale for like $15. So I just went for it because it was cheap.
Nice.
So it's like $14.99 marked down from $40. I think the regular price is $40 now. Yeah. So I went and got it, and I fucked around with it last night. But I mean, I played it before. I played it before, but I was excited about 3 and 4 coming to Switch, and I was like, why not? It's like $15. Like, that's cheap. And I was like, you'll play it more on Switch than you ever did on PS4. So,
right.
And it felt a little bit better for me, maybe because I'm more used to the Switch controls than the PS4 controls. Or maybe I just am better at the beginning of the game, and then when I get to the later stuff, I'll get frustrated again. But it was, I did like the first like 4 or 5 levels, I knocked out the like the score challenges like in the first run, so I still can't find, there's still like one fucking, there's still like one bell I can't find at the school. That was driving me crazy last night. I was just kept searching for it, and I cannot find the 5th bell.
I remember having a hard time finding the bells at the school.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, the bells at the school. Yeah. I can find all of them except for one.
I think there's one that's just kind of, I can picture it. I can't really explain where it is, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not like on the roof, right? Because I feel like I looked all around there.
I think there's one that's sort of off in a corner. I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, they're kind of all in corners.
You start the level. There's the main stairs, the large set of stairs. Go down there, and then
because there's like 2 down there.
Look to the left around the corner. I think there's one, as I recall. When you go down the stairs, keep going all the way to a wall. Look left, and there's like a little alcove over there. I think there's a bell up there.
I'll give it a try, possibly. Depending. Yep. No, I'll play something after we're done recording this. I mean, I brought my Switch all the way to wherever I am here, and I'll try it out.
This is going to be my 3rd time buying Tony Hawk 3.
Me too.
I've got my 2 copies right here.
Well, you have actually. You know what? This actually might be my 4th time getting it, because I think I might have traded in my original Tony Hawk 3 for something through GameStop, and then I bought it again later, and I also bought Tony Hawk 3 for Nintendo 64. So I have the Nintendo 64 Tony Hawk 3, which is awful. Don't buy it. But I bought it just to have it, just as my own like souvenir,
It's a cool thing to have, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I got it for like $20. It wasn't that much. But
I had to buy this
it's
game
not very good.
Twice. I bought this as a launch game for the GameCube. It was that, and then the Star Wars game. I bought both of those. This one, Tony Hawk 3, was the game that I played the most for sure between the 2 of those. And then at some point it disappeared. My roommates would play it. It disappeared, and I remember looking for it. I couldn't find it. Just kind of gave up on it. And then as we were moving out from the dorms, I look up, I pull up the rug, and there it is sitting under the rug. There's this disc right here. And I just had this moment of joy, like elation, Tony Hawk 3. Oh, there it is. And then I picked up the disc, and then it looks like this on the back.
Oh no, somebody used it for wheels.
You still have it. You still have the destroyed one.
Yeah, I never threw it away because I can't bring myself to throw it away.
It's very broken, and there's like
super broken.
There's even like a piece of the disc missing where you can see through the like cover of it there.
It looks like it spent months under a rug and was stepped on a bunch of times.
Yeah,
looks like it was Tony Hawk used it as a truck,
right,
and then ground around the airport.
Yeah, it got sex changed a bunch of times on top of it. That was a move in that game, in case you forgot. I'm excited. I'm excited to play those games.
Me too.
Again, why not? And I hope that this will probably never happen, but it gave me hope that maybe we'll get a Tony Hawk Underground 1 and 2 remaster.
I think they will, honestly.
We just got to keep going down the line, and then we can stop there because you don't need any other ones. but yeah, but Underground 1 and 2 would be fun. I mean, I know you got to do. I mean, 2 was weird. 2 was really weird because you had all these different vehicles and stuff, and like Steve-O and all that shit. But I think 1 was great. Underground was a hidden gem of a Tony Hawk game. Yeah.
I saw a discussion about how are they going to merge 3 and 4 because they have such different structures, if you will. Like number 4 famously ditched the 2-minute time limit, 2 minutes time.
Yeah,
and so I guess they're bringing that back. Like they're not going to have it. This is the discussion that I'm hearing. This could be completely wrong. That they're bringing back and making it all have a 2-minute time limit again.
I don't see the problem with it being the way it was. Like because I was just playing the 1+2. They don't make you go from like one. Like the levels aren't combined together. Like you're still doing like one level from 2, or you're doing one level from 1, and they're completely different. So there's no reason that you can't just do a level from 4 that's set up how it was in 4, and a level from 3. Like I don't understand how it would be.
Right.
Why it would have to be the same.
Would you add mechanics like what would be sketching that got added in 4? Would you add that to 3, or is that not going to be part of it?
I mean, that's kind of how 1 is, right? Because you can do the reverts and stuff. Well, you could do stuff in 1 and 2 that you couldn't do originally in those,
right?
Because you can do the reverts into the manuals, and the manuals weren't in 1. So it's
like in 4 you can get off the board too, right?
No, that's Underground.
That's later, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, that took a while to get to that point. That's the technology wasn't there yet.
Well, I mean, that was the next one. That was Tony Hawk Underground 1.
Yeah,
but I mean, it was just one button. But I mean, 4 you still skated around. You just press a button when you go up to a guy and somebody says, "Hey, do this," and you still have timed stuff. It just the times vary, and
they're the missions.
Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of missions, and I don't see why you would have to change that. And I would be upset if they did. Like I think it should still be the way it was in 4. Like I don't want it to be a completely different game. I want 4 to be like 4 was. And from the trailer, you could see some of the weird shit you had to do from 4 in there. So yeah, hopefully that's the way it did. Like when you got to when you got to like Tony Hawk Underground 2 and beyond, like so many people were missing the original like formula of Tony Hawk that they actually started adding it on there to where you would do like a 2 or 3 minute laps and you could collect skate and secret tapes and all that stuff. So they did add that stuff later in the later Tony Hawks. It was like a classic mode, is what they call it. So maybe they could do that too. But I wanted to have all the stuff that 4 had because it's fun. But I mean, looking at the videos, there's like the one with I guess you can get a deluxe version that's like $20 more, where you get 2 Doom characters in it. It's like, it makes me sad. You're not going to get all the cool shit of the original Tony Hawk 3. Like Tony Hawk 3, there was like fucking 10 unlockable characters in that game. Like you could just go through it over and over and over again. Yeah, Darth Maul and Wolverine, and there's like the Antichrist lady and Officer Dick and like fucking Kelly Slater Pro Surfer was like the most hilarious one, that he had a surfboard and you could go under the ground with it. Like, I mean, I'm just it sucks that it's not going to have like all that, because I felt like Tony Hawk 3 was almost infinitely replayable because of that, because you could just keep unlocking characters like every time. And there was the Neversoft guy that sucked, that had like no stats, and you had to build them up. And yeah, there was just so much fun shit to do on there.
It was definitely like, for its time, it was just a great game. The GameCube didn't have a whole lot going on at the time, and that was a great game to do lots of stuff on.
I was just playing. I just did a podcast with Mike, games my mom found for Rogue Leader, because we just did speaking of GameCube, a Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader episode, and I was like the only one on the episode who actually had the game when it came out. Or I guess Mike had it and he didn't really play it, but I was telling him, I'm like, this is all I had was Rogue Leader, Tony Hawk 3, and Smash Brothers, and it was like, it was all you needed. I mean, Jereme was there. We played a lot of it, and we played through Luigi's Mansion 1 in like a day.
I think you rented that, right?
Yeah, we rented it and played. And I'm glad I didn't buy it because it was so cheap, because it was so short. But I mean, I still think it's a great game, but I would have been upset because I didn't have any money, And I think I bought Tony Hawk 3, and then I bought Tony Hawk 3 and asked for GameCube for Christmas, and I think I got Smash Brothers and Rogue Leader with the GameCube or something for Christmas. Because Jeremy and I, we went out and found one. Because we went and found one, and I bought it, and I gave it to my mom, and she gave me the money and whatever. And then we wrapped it and pretended that we didn't get it. Because we had to search all around to get it, because it was hard to find. But I mean, it was,
These were the days before BrickSeek.
And that was kind of the same. They were kind of complaining about that, like about how like Rogue Leader doesn't tell you anything and it expects you to play the levels over and over and over again. But I was like, that's how it was. That was what, you get one game and you play it for fucking months, and you want to master everything and get all the medals. And
the game is hard.
I forgot that game has audio commentary for every level also, and a documentary on it. Like and apparently they did it in like 6 months. Like it's a fucking insanely genius game. Like it's so good. Like,
and there was a sequel.
Yeah. And then there's Rebel Strike, which whatever. It's not great. I have it. It's even when it came out, I could tell that it kind of had some issues, but it's still fun. And you can play all of Rogue Squadron 2 on their 2-player co-op. It has both games on it, which is pretty wild too for a tiny GameCube disc. But you can listen to that on the other episode. But yeah, Tony Hawk 3 and 4. Hooray.
Super excited for it. My most anticipated game of the year.
Yeah. Well,
23 years later. What is that right?
Yeah, 2001. 24 years later. Yeah. Well, if you want to be specific, it came out in November. Almost 24.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like end of the year, right? Or it was like end of 2001.
Yeah,
because it was GameCube launch.
Yep.
Hooray. Well, did you? I mean, have you done more Tears of the Kingdom stuff this week?
Yes, I've done more Tears of the Kingdom stuff, but yeah, nothing really notable. So
nothing worth talking.
You made a Boson plane.
I did make a Boson plane. That's true. Yeah, it failed spectacularly. Cool. So it blew apart.
It's fun making vehicles out of Boson.
What's a Boson plane?
Boson, the construction guy.
Oh, wait.
Yep.
Oh, the guy with the hair helmet or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the shield. So I made a plane out of his shields. And it was not a great advertisement for his company.
You grab his cutouts, and then you can use them as components of your vehicles, and it's hilarious.
Yep.
It's been so long since I played that game that I forgot what it is, what you do in it. Like what do you do even? No, I kind of remember some of it.
You have to find all the tiers of kingdoms.
Yep, you got to find all the tiers of stuff. Well, we can take a break.
Cool.
And and then we'll come back and I'll talk about my stuff and talk about the news.
Be right back. Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go! And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and, hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
we're back from the break. Let's talk about what I did. All of my shit. I have to sit through my stuff. No, I don't have that much stuff. I did my nickname. I called myself, what was it? Tiny Trey's Turbo Trip. Actually,
I'm glad you got this game. 'Cause I was curious about this.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Actually, I'm gonna lay it up to that one. Okay. So I got last week. I think last week I said, or maybe the week before, I had had some decent money coming through. So I was want to get some extra stuff. There's this game called Rogue. What was it called? Rogue Flight that I've been wanting to get forever. It was on sale for like $10, and it's like a Star Fox type on rail shooter based on an anime, and it's really, really pretty, and it looks cool, and I've had my eye on it for a long time, and it's hard as fuck, speaking of hard things, and I could not get past the final boss of the first level, like the very first boss, like just kept killing me, and I'm like, all right, I need to take a break from this game because it's way too hard. And this other game, I actually bought this a couple weeks ago, but I finally got to playing it, is Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip. And I guess what kind of won me over about this game, I mean, I watched a review of it on... What was it? Nintendo World Report. Somebody did that. Did it on there.
I think they gave it a 9.
They gave it something. I thought it was like a 7 or 8 or I don't remember. But this one actually really, this one I was automatically on board when I first started playing it because it's kind of become this new genre of games. That's it's like the Goose Game. It's like short. It's like a short hike. It's like little kitty in the big city.
Little contained world.
And what I like about it is it's a small world. And there's really only one main objective that you have to do. Like there's one thing that you're doing, and there's all these other things that happen around it. Like that's kind of what I really like. So, and this game is like it's super absurd. It's very obscure, and I like that about it. It's really silly. Everything's very silly about it. It's funny, but the main character, he wants to go to space. Like that's the point of the game, is to go to space. And in order to go to space, he has to get a car, and in order to get a car, he has to get a job, but he doesn't want to make money with a job. He wants to get a car so he can go to space. So he basically meets somebody and he's like, I want to work for you. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, well, I just want a car. He's like, I don't care whether you pay me or not. I just want you to give me a car so I can go to space. So he gives you a car because he likes that you don't want to get paid. But it's still they give you a free car for this job. There's just all this stuff that's kind of super obscure. It doesn't make any sense. Like you go to this restaurant where like Terry gets an unlimited supply of free fries, of beach fries, and they want to make a different food item because they don't make any money because you have unlimited fries and they don't get paid for them. So you have to like find these different bugs and you bring them bugs and you can make beach bug buns. But there's all these like little different mini side quests that you do, and the idea is that you have to collect enough junk to make your car to upgrade your car enough to where it can go to space. So you collect these little junk pieces, and whenever you collect 150 junk pieces, you can upgrade your car. You can upgrade the boost ability on it. And there's it'll show you like if you can check your progress at any time. It'll show you the percentage of your boost that you have, and how much you need to go to space. And there's a ramp. There's like a ramp road thing like in the middle of the town that goes straight to the heavens. It goes straight to the clouds. And I imagine that you get on that. I've tried going up it, and I can only go so far. And I imagine you just go on it when you have enough boost, and you just go up to space or whatever. But it's super. Like I said, it's super absurd, but I like the ridiculous of it. Like, they just give you a map with some question marks on it, and you just kind of go around and look at the different question marks, and you'll unlock things. Or you'll find things. It'll be like, oh, here's a junk salesman, or here's where you upgrade the car. Or there's all these different things that you can do at these different places where the question marks are. So it kind of just wants you to be like, all right, check out these things, but it doesn't tell you what they are. And you'll get little hints about stuff about goals to do. And when you get the goals, you can get treasures that have more junk in them or whatever. And eventually, and you can collect regular money too. And you'll get stuff like, you'll get different weapons, but you don't get, you don't get hurt. You don't fight people. Like I have a sword, but I only use it to like, to break things, to break like trash cans or like food boxes or whatever. And the cool thing, once you get like something to hit stuff with, if you hit any parking meter, or there's like parking signs that say parking on them, or there's just a P sign. If you go up to it and hit it, your car will automatically appear next to it. So it's like you can warp your car to wherever you are, which is great. And so then, and then you can drive your car around, but you run pretty fast too, so you don't really need it. But yeah, you'll find different things, and it'll give you hints about what you should do. And there's this one Burning Bernie is what his name was. This guy named Burning Bernie. He's like laying on the beach, sun tanning, and when you come up to him, he's laying there and he's kind of smoking a little bit, and you're like, "Hey Bernie, you should get off the beach. You're going to burn up." And he's like, "No, I'm fine. Leave me alone." And it shows up on the thing. It's like check out Burning Bernie every once in a while. So I kept coming back to him, and each time he was more and more on fire. Like he's like on fire a little bit, and then he's really on fire. And then I come back and he's just a pile of ashes. Like he's dead. And I just pick up his sunglasses, and then it just makes a little like bling, and it just makes a little like frame thing. And I just put the sunglasses on, and I guess that was the point of it. But he died. He like fucking burned to death, and I took his sunglasses, and I got like shades that I can wear now. So it has like that sort of, it has that sort of fun
Dark
to
sense of
it.
humor.
That fun to it. So I think you'd enjoy it. And it was like, it was cheap and it was on sale, and I used some gold points for it. So I think I got it for like $8. Like I did not pay a whole lot for it, and it's just, like I said, it reminds me a lot of those games that I really like, especially like if you remember like a short hike, like all you needed to do was like get to the top of the mountain. It's like the same thing. You get to the top of the mountain, but there's all this other stuff that happens around it. And you can do that if you want, or you can just try to get to the top of the mountain. And, I've been doing all the different things, but also still collecting the junk. And you can buy like a junk helmet that will tell you like where all the junk is. Like it'll kind of sense it. And you can also get like a sail, like a Breath of the Wild sail, where you can float around and all that. But that's too expensive for what I have right now as far as money goes. But I'm just kind of running around trying to figure out how to do that. And yeah, it's very charming, and I like the little weird characters, and it's written well. And it's actually produced by Super Rare Games, who are the same people that produced that Cabin of Secrets game that I really, really liked. That was on my Game of the Year list last year with the little dragon guy that had to collect the eggs and all that. So that was kind of part of what swayed me on it, is I really, really liked that game. And I think that's the only two games that they have on Switch, is that and the dragon game. But they're both like really cool and super charming. So fun shit. Yeah, I recommend it if you want to play a weird ass game. And let's see, what else did I do? Oh yeah, I finally bought Sonic X Shadow Generations. I bought that game because it was on sale for $37, and I had $10 worth of gold points, so I got it down to $27. So that was down from $50. I wanted it to be under $30, and I got it there. So I got that one. I barely played it. I kind of just played the first couple levels because I was mostly just doing Tony Hawk 1 and 2. But I want to go back and play more of it. I've already kind of played Sonic Generations on PS3, but the Shadow stuff is supposed to be the really cool stuff. But it's smooth. It's very Sonic-y. I don't love it as much as I love Sonic Frontiers yet, but we'll see. I got to play more of it. And the other thing, when I was talking about playing Rogue Leader with Mike on his podcast, we were talking about this. There's this other guy on there, Kendall, who was like really into Star Wars stuff, and he's talking about all these really bad Star Wars games. There's ones that he like really likes, and he started talking about Masters of Terras Kasi, like the old Star Wars fighting game. Remember that game? And I kind of just threw it out there. I was like, oh, we should do an episode on that. I was like, I'd do it if you want me to, and you can get it for like $10. It's really not expensive. And I was trying to figure out. I was like, I'll buy it. And we have a kind of a rough plan to do it. And because I remember renting it in college, and I thought it was fine. I thought there's a lot of stupid characters in there. Like, there's a Tusken Raider in there named Hoar, Hoar, and there's a whole bunch of forgettable characters in there. And but I'll try it again. And I was like, I could play it on my PS2, but I was trying to think about. I was like, is there a way I can use my leverless controller with it? Of course, because it's a fighting game, and I want to try it out. And I just realized, I remember hearing this, but I never really tried it before. But you can play PlayStation 1 games on your PS3. Like, just put the disc in your PS3, and it will play it it'll play a PlayStation 1 game. I remember hearing about this in the news, but I thought you had to like hack it or something. And I looked it up, and I had a couple PS1 games sitting around. I have Tomb Raider 1. I don't know where I got it from. I think my old roommate Nick might have given it to me, but I put Tomb Raider in there, and it just shows up on the menu, and it says PlayStation game, and you just select it, and it just starts up like a regular PlayStation 1 game on the PlayStation. Does it do
Is it use like the internal memory for saving?
You know what? I didn't get to fuck around with that yet. You do like, when you play like Virtual Console PlayStation 1 games on PS3, you have to create like a virtual memory stick for it that you use. Okay. So I don't know if it'll use that or not.
Yeah, it's like that on the PS5 too.
So which is weird because I'd completely forgotten about that when I started playing tried to play a Xenosaga on there. I'd forgotten, and then I had to like start all over again because I couldn't save because I didn't make the virtual thing. But I just wanted to see if it worked, and I tried like, I was trying the Tomb Raider game, and I just wanted to see if the leverless would work, and it did. And I tried Chrono Cross because I actually have Chrono Cross and Final Fantasy IX, the PlayStation 1 discs, and they work fine. And I was like, well, shit, I'm just gonna get Masters of Tiramisu, and we'll and we'll boot it up, and I'll see how bad it is with the leverless. But I'll get fuck around with it. I mean, $10 isn't that much, and I was always kind of interested in it, but I didn't have a PlayStation 1. I had to rent it and play it on somebody else's system, and that was at Lincoln. But I thought it was kind of cool that there was a Star Wars fighting game. I remember Ed Boon always talking about wanting to make a Star Wars game, and I'm surprised we've never seen a Star Wars character show up in Mortal Kombat, but I don't think that's ever going to happen now that they're owned by Disney. But I mean, what's his face? Cabal. If you look at the character of Cabal from Mortal Kombat 3, like he's basically modeled after the Tusken Raiders from Star Wars. Like, yes, he's wearing like the same mask and all that. And I think that's where I first read about their desire to make a Star Wars fighting game. They basically made Cabal. He's basically a Tusken Raider. So, except he can run really fast. But yeah, that was a cool, fun thing that I found. But I think that's it for my stuff that I got here. We have I guess we could talk about you. I mean, you probably didn't watch the Pokemon Presents. Did anybody? I'm sure you didn't have time to, Jeremy.
I watched it kind of. I scrubbed through it pretty quick.
It was like 19 minutes, and over half of it is mobile shit.
I watched it. No, now I remember. I watched most of it on double speed, and slowed it down for some parts.
Yeah, you only need, like I said, to see like the last like 6 minutes or something of it. But I guess they did say that ranked mode is coming to Pokemon trading card game. I thought that you'd be interested in that. I guess if you play people online.
Well, they just released a new deck, and I'm just kind of like, oh god.
There's a lot of decks. I finally played it. I haven't played it in weeks, but I finally played it after Pokemon Presents. And yeah, there's a lot of shit that's out there that I didn't know about. But I still don't. I mean, I just like opening cards. I still don't really play it that much.
Yeah,
but
I haven't even opened it up for a few days. I think I finally got to a point where I was overwhelmed by too much stuff to collect, which isn't a bad thing if you like the game.
Sure. But I think that the two big things for Pokemon Presents is there's a new Pokemon Stadium type game that's called like Pokemon Champions or something like that. And you basically only do fighting, but you can do it
cross-platform.
You can do it on mobile and you can do it on Switch, and it works between both of those. And what I think is really interesting about that, I was actually listening to IGN talk about it, and the one guy was like, oh yeah, this makes me want to buy the game for 3DS and put the Pokemon on home. And I'm like, you can't do that. Like, who the fuck are you?
Nope.
But I mean, number one, you can't buy it because the internet doesn't exist on a 3DS anymore. And number two, I don't think you can even use home because the internet doesn't work on the 3DS anymore. So I like the idea of being able to take all your Pokemon and put it into this game and like fight against people like across mobile or whatever. But you can't do that for like the original ones. Like they need to re-release the game in some form so you can actually do that because you can't do it on 3DS. Like just release it.
It definitely makes sense. It would be a good time to do something like that. But then again, it would have been a good time to announce that as well at the Pokemon Presents.
Yeah, it would have. It would have been the best time because they show these like videos of people playing the game over the years, and you're like, is it going to be it? And then it's a new game, but you can't. As of right now, if you weren't into Pokemon yet and you don't have stuff just stored on home from whatever old game, you could just do the shit from the Switch game, and that's it. That's the only thing that's connected.
I think it's pretty fair to say Pokemon has been for many, many years, probably for decades at this point. It's bigger than the Nintendo console. It's its own thing. So maybe they would not show off something like that at Presents. Maybe they'd wait for a Nintendo Direct to reveal something for the Switch specifically.
Maybe that's a Switch 2 thing.
But I don't know. It was not a very interesting Presents, which they usually aren't. It's usually mostly about the mobile games, and that's sort of the crowd they're going for here and the people that buy the merch and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, we got to see some of Pokemon ZA, but
that's true.
I wasn't.
Do you guys follow the looks of that? Because I know there's controversy. Again, some folks think it's not up to snuff.
I couldn't really judge from what I saw of it, to be honest.
I mean, people thought Arceus didn't look good either, but I love that game.
Oh, that's the best Pokemon game on Switch.
But I don't. But looking at it, it doesn't make me as excited as Arceus because Arceus was so different. It had like He was like, this is the beginning of Pokemon. You get to make your own Pokemon balls and like, and you can run around this like wild area. And this is like in a city. I don't know. It's like the whole other side. It's supposed to be like the future of Pokemon, but it kind of looks the same as Scarlet and Violet, so it doesn't seem that much different, except for now you can catch Pokemon outside of fighting them. And I don't know. I wasn't really that excited about it from what I saw. I mean, sure, I'll get it when it comes out, but it didn't like have me. It wasn't like, Arceus felt like this new, unique Pokemon game, and this game kind of feels the same to me, I guess.
After it just being teased as a name and being like, what's it going to be? Like, what were they saying something about it? An urban themed something or whatever. Like, it made us think it was going to be something.
It's like Lumio City, right? It's supposed to be the most technologically advanced.
And I was thinking it was supposed to be like the town in Detective Pikachu, where like I was thinking it was gonna be something more along those lines. Where
where they're all
like had jobs and stuff. They weren't and Pokeballs and all that.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not what it is.
I forget
what it's probably just another Pokemon game.
Looks kind of generic, and I think that's what people are really complaining about. Not that there's anything wrong with the art style or that the graphics are particularly ugly, which I did watch the trailer just after the controversy. I wanted to see and judge for myself. I was like, this doesn't look particularly ugly. It's just, it looks predictable. And I think folks want a surprise after a series is like 30 years old,
I think like they really nailed the models for the time and Pokemon Go. And I think that's kind of where we're stuck. Everything still kind of looks like Pokemon Go, I think.
Yeah, which has been a long time now. So do something new.
I really like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, aside from the fact that it broke in some areas, especially in the water. I remember the water being really
even
bad.
Shield was really fun. I enjoyed that one.
But I thought Scarlet and Violet was doing like new things. Like it let you go to the gyms however you wanted to, and you had the Pokemon that you could ride around on, and it was.
And I could never figure out breeding, which I liked better in Shield. But
it was fully free, and I played it all the way. I played it all the way to the end. Like I haven't done that since Pokemon Black and White, and that's like my favorite Pokemon game. So they brought me back to that. Aside from like Arceus, but I liked where it was going. It was just kind of broken in the way that it looked, and I was hoping that I know they're really busy.
Rather than fix it, they just like released more paid content for it.
Yeah, they really need to send Monolith over there and have them do it. And that would be so cool if Monolith would do a Pokemon game. It'd look fucking amazing. And then all of a sudden,
those poor Monolith people, they're like probably stretched every direction.
Yeah,
as it is.
It's like, and then all of a sudden the Pokemon die in like 10 days, and their souls have to be lifted with flutes or whatever. It's gonna be great. like Xenoblade Chronicles 3. But yeah, I don't know. We'll wait. I'm sure there'll be something in there that I'll be all excited about. But it didn't wow me the way that Arceus did. So that's that. Like I said, we don't really have to spend a whole lot of time on that because it was really not much to it. But let's see. Let's talk about the news.
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
We got some games coming out this week. There's another Arcade Archives Dead Connection. It's actually, didn't Arcade Archives kind of do something like a 8-year anniversary sort of celebration thing?
Yeah, they did a post showing all the games that they have put out, and
it's a lot.
They've been putting out a game every week, and I think they have a Guinness
since the beginning,
for most consecutive game releases. It's like 430 something games every one per week that they've got. So pretty impressive.
I guess that makes sense 8 years later.
They should they should sell you like an ultimate edition for like $3,000 or something like that has them all
with all the games in one.
Yeah. It's just like a pass, you can just download one whenever you want.
Should be an actual arcade machine that you put your Switch in.
You would never, that's what I want. It's one of those.
Pinball FX got an update, which this series really confuses me because
that's what I said. So this is the first one, right?
Well, the first one got an update. There's Pinball FX. There's Pinball FX 3. I suppose there's number 2, but it's not available on Switch.
Oh, I thought 2 was on. Yeah, it is very confusing to me too because they're like the same. They're all the Zen stuff, but because like the Marvel games on the PlayStation one that I had, they're all in the same thing. But on this one, the Marvel ones are only on like FX1. but not but 3 has like the Star Wars games, which are in the other, and there's also like a separate thing you can buy with Star Wars games on it. It's like
now they're doing updates that are just for the first one, not for the third one. Like, get together, guys.
It's so dumb. Yeah, it's like just bring it all into one thing already. It's so confusing. But I mean, I wanted to mention some big stuff coming out this week. Carmen Sandiego. I don't care about that game, but it's coming out for $30.
I've been wondering where she was.
Yeah, she's on Switch now for $30.
I mean, I've got nostalgia for that series. I played that on the PC back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So it just has my interest that they're reviving it.
Everhood 2. I actually have Everhood 1. Everhood was kind of like a Undertale, Earthbound looking game, except instead of fighting like regular RPG, you it's like a rhythm game where you kind of play it like Guitar Hero, where you go back and forth and dodge things and attack depending on the rhythm and the bar and the notes and all that. It was pretty cool. I have it. I have the first one. I didn't make it all the way through, but it kind of goes all different places. There's Mario Kart stuff in there too. And I thought it was interesting that it got a sequel. The big thing is Suikoden 1 and 2 are out this week for $50 for both of them. And they've gotten really good reviews so far from what I've seen.
These are strategy games, right?
No, they're RPGs.
Oh, are they?
They're RPG-S RPGs. I played Suikoden 1 on PlayStation 3. Yeah, because they finally released it towards the end of the PlayStation 3. And it's a RPG-S RPG game. It just, some of them, you have a lot of party members that you can get. But Suikoden 2 was considered like the best RPG by many people, like even above like Chrono Trigger. They would put them up there. You know,
like is this like PS1 or PS2 era Suikoden 2?
PS1, PlayStation 1.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm really interested in it. I don't know. It was like, $50, and I did buy some other stuff, but I've yet to watch a review of it yet because I haven't really had time to. But Suikoden 2 is always like one of those like hidden gem games that I've just been always wanting to play. And like I said, I do have it on my PS3, but when I got it, like you couldn't put it on the PSP. It couldn't make it portable at all. You could only play it on PS3 for whatever reason. But what I played of it, I liked. Like I thought it was really pretty. I thought the story was already pretty gripping. Like at the very beginning, like I know a lot of crazy shit happens, like involving like, death and destruction and all this stuff. It's a very, very adult game, and yeah, I'm very interested in it. But this other game that I did actually get because it ended up being on sale. Sorry, We're Closed. I actually heard about this game before. Maybe they were on Video Game Apocalypse, the developers. I don't remember, but I watched the video of it, and it's the game that I really like. It basically is. It's Resident Evil. It's like a Resident Evil game with like the low poly, it's like a fixed camera angle horror game, but it's really weird. And there's also some first person shooting in there as well. But I just love the way the art style looks of it. Like if you've seen it, like just watch the video of it. I think it looks gorgeous, and I bought it. I can't play it yet because it's not out yet because it comes out on Thursday. But I'm really excited to play it. Like I think it looks really, really cool, and I would put it in the same level as like mouthwashing. I think that was kind of the same sentence. Like this game and mouthwashing were both like big things of last year on Steam that I heard about. So I'm really excited to try it out, and it looks. And I think it's super queer too, which is cool. Go with your New York tour there.
Yeah.
It's very, very queer oriented. So I like that. There needs to be more of that in the world. So very excited to play it. I will give updates on it next week. But aside from the releases, what else do we have?
Super Soccer got discontinued from NSO.
Did it officially? Is it gone now, or is it still?
I don't know if it's gone yet.
Because I thought there was a date.
They're getting rid of it. Yeah.
I think they're getting rid of it because if you looked at the cover of it, the goalie kind of looks like Trump, and they don't want to be associated with him anymore. It's got that awful hairdo, like the comb. Like
well, in that case, down. Yeah, fuck it, get rid of it.
I always thought it kind of looked like him. I played this game like one time multiplayer online. I think with Jereme or with both of you. It's not gonna.
Yeah, I remember playing it.
It's not gonna disappear till the end of the month. So if you really want to play it,
that will be when I cancel my subscription. So,
I mean,
as everyone knows, my Switch is my Super Soccer machine.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, it's weird that it's the first game to actually take off of the Switch Online. I think that it's maybe going to be put on a collection, and you have to buy it on another thing. That would make sense.
I'm not sure who makes this game, but I'm sure it's not a Nintendo game, right? So
maybe something happened where it's licensed with somewhere else in the meantime.
Right.
Someone else owns it.
It says the publisher and developer is Human Entertainment.
It's the same people who made my game that I just got,
Clock
Tower.
Yeah. Yep. I was gonna say it's the Human Fund from Seinfeld. It's fake. It's a fake company.
George made this.
Yeah.
A whole league of humans.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Play it while you can, I guess, if you want, or don't. I don't care.
Link to the Past got updated on added to the Nintendo Music rather.
Yeah. Do any of you use Nintendo Music anymore?
I haven't in a while, but it's one of those things like it would be just when I'm by myself if I was going to be using it. I put on music at work a little bit, but I think people usually it's just not as much of a crowd pleaser to play video game music all the time.
Oh, that's because you tortured them with all those WART radio episodes.
Yeah, I've tortured them with all kinds of stuff.
The last time I used it was when Jess and I drove to New Hampshire, and I was trying to sleep in the car, and I listened to like the bedtime mix or whatever, and it knocked me out for a little bit. It worked, and I kind of had my own sleepy time mix that I made for WAT radio that I listened to as well. But I really don't listen to it as much. But I'm glad they're still adding things every week. A Link to the Past is an awesome soundtrack. I know you want a bunch, but all you got to do is just wait. I mean, there's probably a bunch of you. If you started listening to it now, you'd have.
I haven't listened to it in like 2 to 3 months.
You'd have like 20 new albums on there.
It's one of those things where I'd almost like get maybe get my old tablet and put it on there, and then just have it connected to a speaker playing constantly at my house or something on shuffle.
It's just like one.
There could be
just one corner of your room is just one corner of the house is just always Nintendo music.
Yeah.
It's like that music corner that you had. Just make it just.
Yeah, we
Nintendo
still have
music.
it.
Yeah,
we use it. We kind of spread through our living room, but most of our music stuff's still in the corner.
I think they actually updated it where there's a new like volume control or something on there too. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't turned it on since we went to New Hampshire, but cool.
We got some new games announced. Terminator 2D, No Fate. There's a new 2D Terminator game coming out.
That game looks cool. I'm in on it. I saw like some comparisons to the NES Terminator, which I've played, which is very, very hard. But it had but the soundtrack was done by Jeff Fallon, which is cool. Which I played that when he died as like as a memorial thing. But I don't know. I think it looks cool. Like I always wanted to play a Terminator game that didn't suck, that was better than the NES one. I just hope they pay some sort of respect to the composer and kind of make it like that, make it similar to that music, because their music, like Tim Fallon and Jeff Fallon's music, was always so like it definitely had this like real like personality to it.
Sure.
And if they're gonna, yes, the Terminator 2 soundtrack has a lot of personality to it too. But it would be cool if they kind of pulled from both, like the main theme and the Fallen stuff. Would be cool.
Right. That'd be cool.
But I watched the trailer a couple times, and I watched like comparison ones, and yeah, I mean it's not coming out till like August or something, right, or September or whatever. But I'm intrigued by it.
And Gex Trilogy, we all wanted the wisecracking gecko that we all know and love to make a comeback.
Yeah, I want to play that.
And,
You're forgetting that comedian's name.
Dana Gould.
Dana Gould, yeah.
Yep.
That guy.
I kind of want. I mean, I want to play Gex just out of curiosity, because it was always like a PlayStation game, and I didn't have a PS1, So
I remember there was like the only time I ever really played it was like, I think it was like Circuit City in Champaign. It was like the only place that had a 3DO set up, and it wasn't even like by the video games. It was like over in like the, where the VCRs and stuff was. And I'd go over there and I'd play the 3DO just because I'm like, what the hell is this thing? And that's all I really played was Gex, but it looked cool. I mean, for the time, this was before I played PlayStation or anything like that. I think it was before PlayStation existed.
But it was on PlayStation 2 though, right? I mean, I remember seeing ads for Gex games on PlayStation later.
So maybe I played it elsewhere, but the 3DO sticks out because it was like, I know they were trying to push the 3DO as not just a gaming console, but it definitely felt like that was it just felt weird playing it at Circuit City.
Yeah, this game started out on
game they had set up.
This game started out on 3DO, but then when 3DO started to tank, they farmed it out to the other systems. Yep.
Not 64, just PlayStation. So it was, it was like I said, it was out of reach. But I always kind of wanted to play it. Or maybe there was one Gex game on.
There was one
on
on
64.
Yeah, and that's on this collection too, on the 64.
But
Yeah, I'm interested just because I like those games of the era. So, I mean, there's a part of me that's just like a little antagonistic toward it, just because this was so obviously trying to be a Mario 64, and then this, character with the wisecracks and all that was like a little over the top. But I don't know, it could be interesting.
I think it'll be more than anything, it'll be interesting to hear what was funny in 93 or 92 or whatever it came out. Like,
Right?
see how well that aged.
Yeah. And it'll have like a little warning on it, like if you watch any of the Muppet shows on Disney Plus, where it's like, well, it was funny at the time, but that was a long time ago. We're leaving it in there, but
The classic Looney Tunes collection with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, Gex.
Gex.
Yeah, I want to play it more than I wanted to play that other game, Glover, which I didn't get, even though it is on sale for like $17, down from 19. But I couldn't bring myself to get it, and also I kind of forgot about it since last week.
There was a Switch 2 game announced this week.
Oh yeah,
Yep, called Woody. It's coming out for multiple systems.
Just
Widow.
just
Woody.
Woody.
Oh, Widow. Yeah, no. Yeah, that, I guess so. Yeah, it was called Widow. You're right. This was an autocorrect. Widow is the name of the game. It's like a puzzle game, and as I understand it, it's like
It's about a wooden wife whose husband died.
I got that one.
It's like a stop motion looking kind of thing, but all the puzzles are like wood pieces.
It doesn't look like anything that needs to run on a high performing software. It looks like something on Unreal or whatever, but it looks cool.
The acting on it is so wooden.
It's cozy.
Nice.
Cozy, the working word of the last generation, it seems.
People like those cozy games.
You like cozy.
They're so cozy.
I like cozy.
I do too. What can I say? Cozy's good.
There's some new footage for Professor Layton in the New World of Steam. They put out a new trailer, which kind of went under the radar.
I didn't.
Because it was in
didn't.
Australia.
I missed it.
Yeah, it was posted by Nintendo Australia.
Oh yeah, I did. I completely missed it.
It's a different hemisphere.
It's where they keep all the criminals. I'm kidding. I mean, that's not how it started, right?
True.
Yeah, it was
Like
like
there
were some colonies.
Yeah.
It actually started with the indigenous people that live there.
The I don't know. I don't think it's in your notes, but did you see that there's going to be a new version of the Goldmine song for Xenoblade Chronicles X?
I saw that. No, I did see that. I read that.
I listened to it. There's a remix. There's a remix of "Don't Worry" is what it's called. I like it. Yeah, it's still got the parts in there. I was kind of like, oh no, don't change it. But no, it's they're actually there's a remix, and they actually have the original composer is doing new music for Xenoblade Chronicles X. So it seems like more and more I hear about this game, the more I'm actually very, very excited to play it again, even though we've already put 200 hours into it. But yeah,
I think it's my game for the month that I'm going to buy. So I can't really probably buy much else this month, but I am set to buy that, and it's going to feel weird 10 years later. Not quite, but close to 10 years later, jumping back into that world I've been avoiding for 9 years.
Yeah. It's going to be. I already bought my voucher for it, so it's already paid
it's like
for.
going
I don't
back
even
to
have to pay for
college and finishing my degree or whatever. Like nowadays, going back and trying to conquer that. The most time I ever put into a Xenoblade game was 10 years ago.
It's a pinnacle. I mean, it's a pinnacle game for the NintenDomain, because that was like one of our our fifth or sixth episode, I think, was Xenoblade Chronicles.
As I recall,
it was a very early one.
It was the largest open world I'd experienced in a game at the time, and it might have been one of the bigger ones at the time. Anyway,
I heard Victor say this on Axel Blood got on the way here while I was driving, and I agree with him. Just remember, we would have never gotten Breath of the Wild if we didn't have Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Ooh,
or
true.
Tears of the Kingdom. So all you people who like those games, we would not have those if it was not for Monolith and Xenoblade Chronicles X, which
so shut the skell up and play this.
Yeah, which blew everybody out of the water for Wii U, because they were really good at making gigantic worlds, and just remember that. That's where all the stuff came from.
A lot of really cool, like exotic locales, if you will.
Yeah, there was like 6 different continents or something like that, or islands, or it's big. It's a big area.
It's very large.
Yeah.
And some of the enemies are very large.
That's true, yeah. And they'll knock you out in one hit if you. Yeah, it's
You
yeah.
gotta spend a bunch of money to get your skill back.
You pay like $60, or no, you pay 60 hours, 60 plus hours to get your scale, and you think you've seen everything, but then all of a sudden the world opens, as you'd say.
Well, then
the
you have
scale
to-
changes with your scale.
Then it takes a while to get your skills to where they can fly after that.
Oh yeah, you got to unlock that as well, and then you get to hear the song.
Then you get to hear Goldmine. Finally.
Yeah, I'm excited about that game.
Me too.
Well, Bandai Namco trademarked the title Once Upon a Katamari. So it looks like
Yeah.
putting Katamari on all these sales for the last like 8 years has really paid off.
I mean, we did get the remakes for Switch, so that was nice.
We did.
I don't know. Maybe they're finally going to bring it to mobile. I think it was on mobile in some regard.
It was.
in Japan, but I don't think we ever had a Katamari game here on mobile.
I played it.
You did?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
Oh, we did.
I played Katamari on mobile, but this was like old mobile. This was flip phone Katamari.
Well, that's what I
There was a
meant.
flip.
like
There was
Yeah.
a flip phone one. There was
It
one.
was
I
top
had
down.
on
It
the iPhone.
was top
as well.
down. It wasn't very good, but I played. But I played it on my that old indestructible Army phone that I had. Way
Yeah, I
back
had
in
the
day.
original game on the iPhone a couple of years back. But this is like a new Katamari game, which hasn't happened in quite a long time. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did pretty well with what they had. With the re-releases on Switch and other systems. So, yeah, let's see a new Katamari game. I don't know if you got this on the Slack. I just looking at it on Blue Sky, but there's this new. Did you see that new Punch Out game or Punch Out looking game called Baki the Grappler? I guess it's made by
Based on anime.
I don't know if it. I mean, it looks very anime. Like the art looks really cool, but everybody's like super muscly. Like you're
Sure. Yep.
and you're
Yeah,
going
Baki
against
is,
these like
is an
very
anime.
very like super steroided dudes. But it looks cool. Like I watched a video of it and I thought it looked really nice.
Yeah, Baki's an anime series.
It's the same. It's the same people who did the other Punch Out like that's on there. That's been on sale a lot, but I haven't got it. Thunder Ray. The people who did Thunder Ray is a Purple Tree.
Cool.
Which I wanted to get that, and it's been on sale. I just haven't got it because, I've bought other like Punch Out like games before and been burned, so I wasn't really ready to pull the trigger on that one. But I think this new one looks cool. Like I really like the way the art looks, so it makes sense if it was an anime. But yeah, just watch some of the way it's animated and the way the drawing is. Like the guys look like huge, like they take up like pretty much all of the screen. So it's got that fun, like, tiny character versus gigantic, enormous muscle dude, like the old school games. So cool.
And last one, it's been 8 years since the Switch came out. So
Holy
which is
shit.
8th anniversary.
Yeah, 8 years for the Switch. Do you guys have anything to say? 8 years in. I was trying to think of
Happy birthday, Switch.
something to do. I mean,
We love you, buddy.
Because what was it? We had our 7-year episode. What
Yeah.
I mean, what's your
The
favorite?
7-year itch.
What's like your favorite game still? Tears of the Kingdom for everybody. Mine
Tears of the
is
Kingdom, yep.
mine is Xenoblade
Mystery.
Chronicles 3. It's like my favorite Switch game of all
Yeah,
time.
I think it's probably
love that
Tears of
game.
the Kingdom and Tetris 99 is way up there. And probably
Dragon Quest 11.
Dragon Quest 11.
That's another one that I would put up high on my list. I mean, the great thing about the Switch is it's brought a lot of other very, very cool RPG games to me that it's become the ultimate RPG machine, and it's gotten me hooked on. Well, I guess I always wanted to get on Dragon Quest once I realized what it was, and that it was Dragon Warrior and all that. But I played most of those games. I played on Game Boy Color and Game Boy Original and whatever. I finally got to play new Dragon Quest stuff on Switch with like Dragon Quest Builders, Dragon Quest 11, Dragon Quest Monsters, Dragon Quest Treasures, lots of them.
Yeah.
And the remade 3 and all that shit. Not to mention Ease. I got an Ease for the first time on Switch, and recently last year I got into fighting games. More with the level.
I love
and all
getting
that.
to play, obscure stuff that we never would have gotten to play, like Moon. Moon was a highlight for me.
Oh yeah, there's Moon is in the news too because the Moon sequel actually came out in Japan.
Oh, okay.
They made it's Stray Children. That's what it's called. but it's not localized. It's only in Japanese. But it looks exactly like Moon, and it pretty much is a Moon sequel, except it has fighting in it now. It has a battle mechanic now. I heard about 8.4 was talking about it, but it was not there. I don't think anybody said anything about localizing it yet, but it looks exactly like the Moon game, and you could buy it on your Switch on the Japanese eShop if you wanted to.
Cool.
So yeah,
never forget like getting all of the Square. Like we can play all the Square RPGs on there too, and
well, most of them
for the most part.
There's a big one
Nothing
missing.
new news.
No,
15.
No Chrono Trigger.
Oh, no Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger's still not there. 8 years in, still no Chrono Trigger. What's up, guys?
Yeah, Chrono Cross is there.
Yeah, we got Chrono Cross,
which is bizarre. But
we have like almost all the Final Fantasy games. Well, we have 15. We have like a mobile 15 version.
We don't have 16. But
Well,
that's okay.
Yeah, 16's not going to run on there. and why would you want it to?
They'll probably put it on Switch 2.
You know, I heard you could be a sword guy for 30 hours or whatever. I don't know. I didn't think it looked good at all.
Overall, just a great little console that keeps on chugging. Who would have ever thought when it came out that people were already like worried that it was too gimmicky as usual, but we found out pretty damn quick that people like the Switch and it's been printing Nintendo money ever since. Where they've just abandoned everything else pretty much.
It was already like way behind the times when it was released 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And it still is. And there's still no sign of the software stopping for the Switch, like at all, even with the Switch 2 on the horizon. Well, because we still have it's still become like such a mecca for indie games and indie darlings and stuff like that. So, it's like, why?
Everybody wants to be published on a Nintendo platform.
Yeah, and it's crazy that we're doing day in and date on Tony Hawk 3 and 4, where we had to wait a while on 1 and 2, but now they know. Better be all on the same day. And we don't even know. We're in like the month, we're in the month of March. We got a few more weeks left before the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time to be a Switch owner.
It is. It's an exciting time to be a podcaster, right?
Yeah, I hope so. Get us some more watches or listens or whatever. But I was thinking about the Switch. Obviously, I have plenty of games to play on the Switch still. But but there's all these games coming out that are out of reach, especially in the fighting game world. That's only on like PS5, and I'm like, I want to get a PS5, but we're on the cusp of the Switch 2. So I feel the same way that I did, I guess, in the later Wii U days, where there's some games. I want the Switch 2 to be the hand that reaches out to me, that lets me play.
Yeah.
That lets me play like the new Fatal Fury game and like Tekken 8 and like those sort of games. That I'm really
Street Fighter 6.
Well, I have Street Fighter 6 on PS4, but I'd love to play it on Switch 2 also. I already said, I want the Ultimate Edition with all the new characters on there, with all the DLC guys. And I'd be really surprised if we don't have that. Did you? I guess you didn't get Monster Hunter Wilds yet.
No, I don't know. That's going to be a bit of a wait. I think as excited as I was about it, it's had like a somewhat lukewarm reception. Maybe there's some kinks that need to be worked out or whatever. I can't do it right now.
It's like a $70 game, right?
Right.
Yeah. It'll be worth it.
Xenoblade X is my next one, and I'm going to stick to it.
You could get yourself a voucher. That's what I was saying last week. I got $100 eShop cards for $89, and then I bought 2 vouchers for $100, so I saved like $30 off of Switch games. I'm using it. I was hoping to use it for Metroid Prime 4 and Xenoblade Chronicles X, but we'll see if that'll be an option. If not, I can always throw it away on Brothership or something. Why not? Maybe.
Just toss it down the trash.
Probably not, but I always could try it. Also, apparently, Stardew Valley got fixed for the new update, or they fixed the crashes and whatnot. But I think that's good here. We're almost at 2 hours, and I don't want it to be too long because I'm working.
Yeah, working.
But for anybody who, I was saying, be harder to edit. But for anybody who likes listening to the NintenDomain network of podcasts, Jess and I just recorded our annual Drunk Oscar commentary, which is actually on this feed and the How Is It Now feed, and it's on the Patreon. It's everywhere. So you've probably already seen it, but give it a listen. I think this is the drunkest we've ever been on any of these.
Nice.
So it was pretty rough edit, but I made it
Getting all
through.
pissed about Subsistence.
Subsistence got an Oscar. They won one. I did. It's funny because they won an Oscar, and I'm so oblivious to that they got an Oscar. Like I keep talking about how they didn't get one, and they did.
Oh, really?
Get an Oscar. But I'm so drunk that I missed it or I forgot about it because they won the makeup. They won best makeup. So there's that.
There you go.
But there were a lot of surprises in there. I was surprised by. Well, I was
They got that
surprised
over
and-
Wicked. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying it was probably.
they're
up there
using
for-
I haven't seen Wicked, but from what I've seen of Wicked, there's a lot of green screen in that, and
Yes.
Substance there isn't.
Lots
there's
of practical effects.
There's actual, it's all practical and like latex and all that fun stuff.
Squibs.
Yeah. So, and what was it? Honora ended up fucking stealing the show. So I said it last week. Jess said I had just watched it. Honora's awesome. You can rent it for like $6 on Prime. It's really good. So watch that movie. They won like everything. They won like best screenplay, director, and like the dude who wrote it, directed it, like edited it, like he did like everything. So he's
Is he in it?
He's a singer songwriter of movies. No, he's. I don't think. I mean, he might have a cameo, but
No Vince Gallo here.
that's what I call him. That's what I called him in the podcast. The singer songwriter of movies because he did all this shit. He's like the Lloyd Kaufman.
He's the Bryan Adams of
writing
cinema.
writing everything. He's writing and not starring, but But we have Mikey Madison in there who won an Oscar also. So hey, they don't need it. But yeah, you can check that out and also support the show. Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast. I had a crazy week of editing 3 podcasts. That's like a lot of time of podcast editing. But you can listen to the EXP, our expansion pack podcast about weird controls that we just did, which I thought came out really well. It's fun. You can hear Jereme wax poetic about the Labo piano and all the and all the amazing things that we can reach because that was created. I think think you were on a pretty good note there. Like you had a good rant about the Labo in there. I was impressed. It just has a really good rant about trans people and being an ally and all that stuff as well in there. Kind of on the cusp of what happened with Amelia Perez and all that stuff. But listen to that. Listen to all that stuff. You can find it on the internet and youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast. And find us on Blue Sky, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. You can find NintenDomain out there in the world. Comment to us so we can read it on next episode. But we've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
Jerry Mikowski.
John Nitter.
And that's been episode 461. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next time.
NYC.
Don't worry about the future, it's alright. Because a better picture we can find. Just like our dreams, they've gotta be free. So, anyway, let's move on. You said you loved me many days ago. Don't worry about those things, it's not your fault. Just come today at break of day. Oh, we've got things to lose. All over the world we see all the high walls. You cannot change, but we've got to try first. Miles and miles fly across our sky. Tonight's the time.
There you go. I like what you did there.
You'll just have to pretend like there is music there.
Yep. I was trying to make some noise myself, but I didn't stay committed to it for very long.
I went to New York City and all I got was I went to New York City and all I got was overwhelmed in the hold on one more time.